TV Ghana and across Yam Valencia Tetana. Let's get the detail of the stories. 4 persons of the Accra-Winneba Highway to say the rock blast, which lasted for a few minutes, was done after several vehicles on the stretch were halted for the activity to take place. They say the blasting of the rock, most construction work is happening in Budum. October 15 to Sunday, October online was made during the special IPAC meeting on October 1. The online re-exhibition aims to facilitate a smoother voting process ahead of the 2024.
Signed by a deputy will commence on. This move allows addressing concerns can check their details via short code *711*51# free of charge. Voters can also check their details from the statement further called on the public to report any identified discrepancies to its district office for the upcoming. The commission stated that it considered the total number of voters on the provisional voters register while accounting for a 2% voters if any potential shortages or discrepancies in the upcoming election.
150 hotspots in the country ahead of the 2024 presidential. 4 flashpoints it identified in the run-up to the 2020 general election. The decline is attributed to the security measures implemented by the Commission and Secretary. Every general election year and even in local elections, flashpoints are identified and shared with the police administration as well. Mr. Tete added that identifying a may not be a flashpoint in 2020 elections. The people of Savannah region for their support and commitment the Savannah region has experienced since its creation.
Exchanging what will be his final pleasantries with chiefs and people of the region were the many achievements listed by the Yagbonwura, the Yapewura, Dr. A. Growth and development since its creation. Their new demand is another district to be created out of the Central Gonja district of learning in the region, who otherwise wouldn't have the means to pursue it. On the December polls, the chief pointed out that the political leaders of NPP and NDC are brothers and must not allow their followers to disrupt the electoral process.
Elections are not a time for division or conflict, but rather an opportunity to build a stronger and more united, to be drawn into violence of people who seek political power.
The Minister for Lands and Natural Resources needs of the people.
Mr. President, you have of human life, whether education, your legacy, and your achievement is unmatched. Whether health, what have you, your achievement is unmatched.
President Akufo-Addo thanked the people for the honor done him by endorsing him as president for the second time for their cooperation and collaboration.
When I came into office, there were 800,000 people in senior high school today in the school system. Not only have we improved equity in school going in our country.
In parting, the president said he believes that the best candidate to continue his legacy is Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia to protect free SHS, Agenda 111, and other key projects which the opposition NDC are keen on reviewing.
In his party's manifesto, Mr. Mahama explained that this policy making health care more accessible to everyone.
Fourth, to improving the well-being of Ghanaians through the proposed free primary healthcare policy. The NDC flag bearer draws attention to his proposal for the NHIS card to only be required at higher level to remove barriers to accessing healthcare at the community level, especially in rural areas. To achieve this, Mr. Mahama pledged that people to ensure that even the most remote communities receive good healthcare services.
We're introducing new policies. You don't need a national health insurance card. Any health facility, from a clinic to a CHIPS compound, if you go to national hospitals, to the regional hospitals, to the teaching hospitals and the tertiary hospitals.
Infrastructure and improving service.
Who are going to your blood pressure to make sure that you don't have hypertension and that you don't come down with a stroke. And they know what time it is to visit which household so that we...
Existing gaps in...
Tension in Bawumia, presidential candidate said to the commodity.
Of the possibility, Jin was a courtesy call on the chief of Nsakwa, Omahini Dasibre Okujiamandu Duampem. After the visit in the 10th constituency, among the issues they presented to Dr. Bawumia includes educational infrastructure. Dr. Bawumia assured the chiefs of his commitment to see to the request when he becomes president in 2025.
School cities and also my Ehiamo. Enti ni bebo akonta just a mere mo if you na me start no na ma bo ejumade amamo na ma ba na ma kanjiram so one area Ejidi said the be science share no predictability of prices so abeboa cashew farmers and also begin the processing.
A community converged at its policies to the young people of Tyne. These include flat tax rate, flat rate import duties, system in Ghana, make life better for Ghanaians. December 7.
Now let's have the
the jersey, the show. It's game day today, and Ghana is playing away to Sudan, but in Libya. So that's what's going on today, and we are supporting the team to do the business, who also have 4 points of October 2024. It's also Global Hand Washing Day, so make sure you wash your hands really, really well and prevent all kinds of things that can happen. And then there's a cholera outbreak that has 055 556 1034. Tell me what's up.
Cool, CAF, and of course, but it's still October, and we are still creating awareness about breast cancer. Today we'll seek to dispel some of the myths you and I may have about the disease, and our doctor from Moses Medical Center will be sitting with us to give us some of those factual facts about breast cancer. So ongoing and very, very active. Today, that problem. The NDC, do they think it will work? Do they think I am Thelma Taki. This is Breakfast on GTV. Multi-TV. Screening by the Remedy Mission. That's a conversation that I will also be having on GTV Breakfast this morning. And also, I'll be sitting with an author of a book, the Mole Dagbon, or the Dagbamization, in a little bit.
Good morning, Kaf, and good morning to you all watching us. Sukuma is celebrating their 60th school song today.
And a little bit later on today, we'll be looking at different sweet smelling. Yes, there was all kinds of... I don't know which part of... polio. So watch out. We've got breast cancer.
That they were drying up and he sealed to be working. He asked his neighboring farmer, he told me the farmer noticed that some time ago he planted some things that maybe identified that problem, and then you can move very, very close. And we all thought we were going to end up married, and analyze the situation and realize that it was just something of that. It's to progress forward. Problems, then you know root cause was and how a breast cancer conversation.
You this morning, and lots of public health will be giving you on GTV Breakfast this Tuesday, and so just stay tuned, you health lovers, and you know you need to have a healthy body. This morning, our conversation in your physical health. Remedy Mission is here to create awareness about breast cancer. This morning, my guest will tell us who he is in a minute. Good morning, welcome to the show.
Good morning. Okay. My name is Pastor Dela from Remedy Mission.
In health, public health.
The Bible says in Acts, with the Holy Ghost with power, and from that scripture you said that you can. So Jesus, when he walked the money care of the people, we don't just preach the gospel, we also take care of their needs, physical needs. Recently I was in the north, and we were able to we gave them clothes, shoes, medical facilities, medical necessities.
It has always been part of evangelism. But
exactly.
How does it look like? It hasn't.
Like I said, so if you really want to, so important.
Right.
As a mission, we feel like into this holistic, they are so the pink gospel. So we are going to be sharing the gospel alongside pink gospel.
Okay.
We've been doing this thing for some time about ladies being the pink month. Yeah. So we're going to be doing 10,000 sanitary pads.
10,000 sanitary pads.
We're going to be doing 10,000 sanitary pads, and in 3 places. Okay, 3 regions. So you're going to be doing Greater Accra, Eastern region, and Volta region.
Okay.
So yeah. So the Greater Accra is going to kick off 21st.
On our screen, is this the one learning materials?
Yeah, exactly. From last December, yes. So what you can see here, Africa being in so many places this month, starting from 21st. And then Eastern region, 23rd.
Okay. Markets.
The program we have, I've given them more of what to do, if situations, how effects of these things, are just unbearable.
Do you go with health experts who help them?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So we will bring on board professionals as well in different departments.
Right.
And sometimes we also bring
long-term vision
mission, where we will not just be preaching the setting up farms, hospitals, a lot of things that will help people. Like I said, physical body. That Jairus' daughter came back to life. Jesus said, give her something to eat. Very important. So after the spiritual awakening, after the spiritual resurrection, the next thing is that he instructed them to give her food. So you see, that's where we come in.
Right.
as human beings. So there are a lot of a borehole in a village, all right? And my philosophy is that
not sell anointing oil to people, and then people's issues,
yeah,
in our society.
A lot of problems can be health challenge. Don't you just walk in that community, half of the burden in the church, a health facility, spiritual way. 2020 to say, because 5,000 sachets, yes, as a ministry, remember. So,
Remedy Mission.
Remedy Nation is on. Remedy Mission is on Facebook as Remedy Nation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Only on Facebook. Is there a contact?
024.
Okay.
500-870. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank
and
you
I'm
so
sure
much.
that lots of people watching and listening will be hoping that you come to their community in the Eastern region, the Volta region. To Pastor Dela from Remedy Mission, we've talked about 10,000 women who will be benefiting from their sanitary cleaning as well. 024 500-8703. They have done lots of this in Sierra Leone, in South Africa. They've gone to the north quite recently. So if you want to partner them and support them, just read them out on social media at Remedy Mission. I am Altiti Saida Sadek. Remember, it's game day, and so conversation on health you don't want to miss. Stay with us. Media pages, GTV Ghana, lots of activities are among women, and as part of those activities, there are several educational campaigns. Today, standing with us have about this data is here to talk us through some of those and preconceptions and prejudice a bit more head on so that we'll be better informed. Myth number one, a breast with this for us.
Yes, something may hit the breast, something and all those things. And people think that that injury could cause breast cancer, but it's not like that. The breast is a cell, is a tissue. So if you have any injury, wouldn't necessarily cause breast cancer. I'm so scared that you definitely have a breast cancer and all that.
My sister once I think she came into contact with a doll, and it was on her breast and in school, by the way. So now she knows better. So myth number one down, several more to go. Let's go to the second myth. Breast cancer is more common.
So these are some of the things. A huge breast mass or bigger boobs and all that. They think that any breast at all, even men with small of the size of your breast and all that, you could breast. You shouldn't be scared that breast cancer also applies. So the thing.
Myth number two, size doesn't matter. Okay, remember that the size of your breast does not matter when it comes to breast cancer. So that's breast cancer only affects middle-aged or old.
I've seen 30 years having a breast cancer.
30?
Yes, 30 years. Mostly we have the notion that when you are 50 years plus having breast cancer, it could be years with breast cancer. It's a risk factor. Growing up having breast cancer, about 9% of people, any woman at all, could get a breast cancer if care is not taken. Yeah.
Okay, good stuff. Myth number four of breast cancer. Definite.
Yes.
That's a hard word.
Yeah, so funny enough, breast cancer, it doesn't cause pain. It becomes lump with pains in the breast who cannot be a breast. There could be an infection. I think beginning of this week, beginning of this series, we talked about certain types of breast conditions. We have then all those things affecting the breast. Having pains in your breast is not a definite diagnosis for breast cancer. Some people get scared. When it comes to breast cancer, as I mentioned earlier, the early detection helps. But because I think it could be breast cancer, deal with it earlier for you to be well. So you having a pain in your breast shouldn't scare you from having a breast check. You need to check it, be treated with antibiotics. Yeah, so you don't need diagnosis. Yeah.
On our screen,
alcohol, you don't have to worry about breast cancer.
Definitely. Eating healthy. But we have people, even vegetarians, having some of these conditions. The hook from having breast cancer. You could be doing all this, but you could also get a breast cancer. That's why there is the need for every woman to go have a check to find out if there is any changes within the breast.
Medically, I've never understood why plain B6. It's so important that you do all these things, but it's not a guarantee that you are out of the woods. Carrying a phone in your bra can cause, I've heard this a lot,
yes.
can cause breast cancer.
Yes, it's not entirely true. And radio frequency is a nose breast cancer. But we don't have to be, we hear and it scares us. But then, but there are certain strong radiation imaging. Some of them uses high frequencies. And those ones, they are so much protective. Radiations are not going out from the room, radiations. But
so that we can see what all the myths. 6. Can we go to 7, please? All breast cancers are not the same?
No, they are types different. So the type of cancer that you have, the treatment is different. It's not always the same.
So don't put yourself in the same box as you are an exclusive, I know.
Yeah, there used to be a myth that it could cause breast cancer, though it could cause breast pain because it's hard and all those things and pressing the breast for a very long time. As I mentioned earlier, breast pain is not entirely a diagnosis for things, and it will bulge up within the breast. You could have some bulge
effect you're looking for if you're wearing underwear.
Yes, so, but it doesn't cause.
It's finding a lot is always a cause.
Men could also, there are certain medications, certain hope, but and they could also get the breast cancer, but it's not as compared to that of the women.
And for the men, those conditions can be
they can be treated. Okay. Yeah, they can be treated. Yes.
People who have
it's not diagnosed with the breast cancer. It's not all breast cancers that leads to surgery. There are some that you still maintain your breast. You don't have to go through surgery and all that. So you don't have to.
Breast can prevent breast cancer. They will not like it.
It wouldn't any that, but most women don't. Within the skin, they will pick it. It didn't prevent you, but then it could help us to detect it early.
Wahala for who no get during that intimate process, but it does not. It's not a guarantee. Basically, is what doctor is saying. Myth number 13: using underarm antiperspirant can cause breast cancer, and I've heard this. So
people think that if you use that and you are not sweating, a limp adenopathy, breast and armpit, and all
safely, because I've also
sometimes you have to let the breast relax. Sometimes it could cause some back pain and all those things, especially women with heavy breast density, but that wouldn't necessarily cause breast.
Because October is still on, and our friend's breast cancer, Dr.
Thelma,
Prince was 50%.
50% off. Who knows?
So keep. Doctor, say thank you for making.
They affect the legs. Every parent wants to take it because the sickness isn't good at all. Imagine being a parent when you are going somewhere and your child is sick of that sickness. Carrying him or her going up and down is not comfortable.
Shesa polio yana bata kafan yara. Yana ya kashe jikin mutum, kafan jikin yaro tun bisan shi. Polio ya kamaci polio haka dunga. Assalamu alaikum.
Mati edinu by minim inchechimbia.
Akaji ufono ko ji enande e affecto. No mu fe no ke babu den cho bile yi. Oni no ko tumana kan aka fe obile.
Asakara gen fe.
It can affect the polio. Those that are that and you don't cry because it is something that will be with the child forever.
Still hali yanzu like aiki. Naje bayan wanga ba muna zuwa wujin lura ne kamata
wallahi yawo mu fufuro from 0 to 3 months or 5 years enti masuan so say sap mi hu say ti say compulsory say akola bia beteki polio
ne ke ko han bi han ekule yo hilat mo kwasioko emusuba fi agbo echo ba fi agbo ekule hu no ni ba fe di hela ko ni ba mole faban
Ona if for polo hine. You polo in your hand will be zero.
With time for you to have lucky that medicine, if you are giving them, it will be better.
Polio.
Our health facility, she's complete side effects. Say sorry, so it's good. It's good for you to side effects. Say sorry, so it's good. It's good for you to educate the parents before you inject the children. Yeah.
So it affects the legs or the arms. Polio doesn't cause swollen head. It doesn't cause kwashiorkor. It doesn't cause any measles destroying the legs, if I should put it in that context.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And how does one get polio?
Directly taking the feces. Mm-hmm. But we use gutter water to food and we ingest. And then we get polio from it.
Wow, so it's closely linked to sanitation.
Sure.
Indeed.
And you know, this current issue that we have that has led related to polio virus were in the north before a problem with the pockets of people who are not immunized. So when we get the system.
Good.
Yeah, so we are starting, it's going to be house to find giving polio. It's a trained personnel.
How will we identify them?
They are very different.
Yeah.
Ours is a little thick, and so you will see people cross water. We cross water.
So our front planes, they shouldn't worry.
Yeah, there's a boat
to take them
that takes them there.
Okay.
And even people wade in water up to their, I mean, anywhere, even if it's only to respond to us.
My people at Nima Market, they will be visiting.
They will be there.
Vaccines. Can you address those concerns, please?
The first medications, that is, your body fights that viral germ comes into your body. The ones that them, so you can have it tomorrow.
They vaccinated. I'm afraid that there's some agenda to kill black people. I mean, what do you say to that?
Oh, if there's strict condition, all the health form we call that vaccine and then bring it. You understand? Vaccines. Also ensure the stuff are used.
Okay,
5 years.
Okay, is it a drop?
Drop. Well, polio. Well, for a long time we haven't really had any serious effects from polio immunization.
Okay,
every eligible child
from 0 to 5.
From 0 to 5 years.
Okay, we wish you the best.
And I would also want to confirm outbreaks will still exist.
Okay.
It is safe.
All right. It is safe.
We assure you it is safe.
Thank you so much.
So bring all your children
17th October, thank you so much. So 17th October.
Results. He stated Thursday the team held a mandatory of the match day 4 clash scheduled against Sudan would signal.
At home, and this is Ghana's. I think it was good that Angola was bad. I think, and now the situation is we are second. We are second. I think still in our own hands, and this is what we are looking for. So we're looking for tomorrow's win, and then we'll be back on track. I think, and willingness to win was ready, and this is the only thing we believe goals will come. Time, at the end of the game, the way we played, we created a lot of players have to, and the hard work.
Angola has 9, and so let's move on now. And GT 5 AFCON.
Sometimes we'll have bumps, we'll have storms, and I believe we are come. They will give us a good result, and we will definitely hoping that the boys with positive spirit and positive energy.
5-0 defeat to Germany. And the 20 Waffles on B qualifier, and the inside continued to dominate. Now, and the Ghana Boxing Federation has received Black Bombers. They have received youth team again. It took place at the Boxing Arena. The items included branded boxing support as a UK-based boxing equipment. The president of the GBF, Mr. Bernard Quarty, thanked the leadership of Box Up for their gesture, describing
the growth of boxing in the country.
Every Ghanaian has and a partnership of Ghana Boxing Federation. Ghanaian boxers can be the elites that they're meant to be.
The vice president of the Ghana Boxing Federation
to the height that they deserve.
The new and Switch Sports actually were ATC to the young players representing Ghana were Eric Toto from the Stadium Tennis Club, Jeff Frimpong from Ghana Tennis Club, Adabraka, and then Eden Didonu from St. Francis Club at a impressive 2-1 victory. The finals and played Cameroon. Again, they won 2-1. They faced South Africa in the grand final.
Tennis competition, AJTC, 12 and under boys competition took place in Gaborone in Botswana. Stadium Tennis Club, Jeff Frimpong from the Ghana Tennis Club at Adabraka and Ethan Jijonu from the St. Francis Club at Ashaman. They were led by coach Charles Agubila. The team claimed an impressive 2-1 victory over Zimbabwe and followed it up with another 2-1 South Africa in the grand finale.
Right, so let's do some basketball. 16th stage of the Sprintex night within and FIBA. Despite facing challenges in the preliminary round held in Libya, the Knights secured their spot in the next 69-73 to Libya's Mighty Borough Basket Club Ball Club. They fell 81-99 to Ivory Coast ABC Fighters. However, they are 82 to end the superior points difference. Sprintex Knights Mighty Borough
second place in the group thanks to the superior points difference. Sprintex Knights, Mighty Barrow and Inland Court performance allowed them to claim the second qualification victories, including a night for Ghanaian basketball as the Knights surpassed the efforts of the Braves of Customs, who represent on the Elite 16, the Sprintex Knights in African basketball.
Investigate Nigeria, Libya, AFCON qualifier Brouhaha. So the Confederation National Stadium in Libya ahead football team Super Eagles and the technical team were allegedly instructed to note the matter has been referred to the CAF disciplinary board for investigation, and appropriate action will be taken against those who violate All right, so on this note, we'll call it a break on GTV. Thank you very much for joining us, but on GTV Sport for now.
Wearing the national colors, red, gold, green. It's a big one.
Our headlines, the Ghanaian Times, big effective.
And a psychologist.
Just must
from heaven. I have an
a panel from
here.
heaven. Mining, minority.
Not good news.
Before elections, the photograph of the before elections, the photograph of the AC official there.
Oh, expected Ashanti by picking up. Business analyst.
City to record stability in near term, ranked among 4 news
on the manifesto
to hashtag stop Galams.
One of the old schools who have new things to tell us.
Yes.
My psychiatrist. Indeed, Stop Galamsey now. That is the campaign that we are on. Let's get our water bottle. My guests are seated and we're ready for the conversations. In the house, we have a psychologist, clinical psychologist, and the closest thing, Ufle.
If you want to diagnose someone, is to rule out every possibility, and it's a problem. Anyway, we dropped. It was a very beautiful pitch they play on. So when it was time for Ghana to play Angola, it wasn't good. Foreign land.
Yes.
Yeah, it was very nice. So is it the pitch or pitch, the football play? The type of people we select, which they will teach you and teach. I would like to appeal to GFA to call one of the education specialists for me. UCC, especially those who did in the selection of players for the Black Stars, 24 of them or whatever, the squad, and you run the social first which are best, then and the person did not again.
So we need some more psychological stars. We want them to depression. Are you excited about this?
Very, very excited. Dr. Say they've been come, and I hope this is not just when you go to a psychiatrist. So if you go in there, recently I see they built a 25 million in Accra. You are bound to get schizophrenia.
What does it look like physically?
You hear things, and we need to get them into some hospital injections and long-acting.
Like a prophet.
Okay.
On the line, we wake up to anxiety disorder and.
Thank you very much, and good morning to you too. We've been fighting for this for a very long time. Everybody will contribute something. At first, the national health, when they come for treatment as a psychiatric, that is very good, and they cover most of the cases that we see as some money to the
years of experience. What's it?
The challenge is that, for instance, if you have malaria, if you have 6 months long standing in terms of their treatment, and so within
the money issue is still outstanding. You would have
exactly. What you've been doing is money to attend to the patients, and since that money is not coming, it means you've got to offload part of the cost to patients all along. So you come to the hospital, you will still send a lot of money to patients. The source of income goes down, out of the shoulder is better than nothing.
The ability to lobby the fund, hasn't the argument gone through to?
And remember, since 2012, simply lack of will. All the lobbying that we've done, we've met with the ministers, maybe this current minister that I'm not sure because I wasn't there, but previous ministers for their part.
Bipolar, anxiety disorder, schizophrenia, are we on an uptick?
Are worsening every day. Poverty, and so depression is there on the rise, I must say, and the issue. Otherwise,
caregivers, people who are related to people going through all these mental health conditions.
To start with, mental illnesses, a good number can be prevented. Diagnosis. In other words, your relative, your friend, and then you prevent the important. Whichever way, if they are ill, but prayer is supposed to. If you take these steps, we are likely to the streets as if nothing can be.
Prof, we are screening work. I have never done one.
Well, at the end of the day, you will get to know whether to understand the mental health and what are the precipitating factors. Check up as I said, we take you through, they go to the laboratories and whatnot to check whether there's something as screening tools, which are all...
Take a mental health checkup and alcohol. 4 major mental health conditions: depression, bipolar disorder, anxiety disorder, and schizophrenia. And on the breakfast show, we will go through these mental health conditions, TV breakfast. How does that make you feel? In the news, 055-556-1034. Let us know what your thoughts are.
Within the mental health department, characters that will support peer will be able to say things like community health workers to mental health. And you are more likely to the doctor. But don't go early assessments, early treatment, early diagnosis and early treatment is very, very helpful.
Money now and match productivity to performance of workers. It says, the single spine salary structure had helped to manage discrepancies and disparities in public sector wages, but it was time for the country to focus more on the output of workers. If not, you can just jump into this one.
I think I agree with the chief executive. It seems to me that the performance management, so people go to work and somebody can report, is to receive an alert. And that is not salaries and related. It's good. The question then is, how do we implement? They account for the 8 hours a day. The supervisor who will supervise the person who is working is himself. It comes out clear. Public sector.
What's the difference?
They pay you on hourly basis. Once you do, it will also reduce. It will help. So I think that compensation to productivity, but that will require workers account for it is a problem. You introduce Friday, it's difficult. So I think it's about time we reform that process. Will tell you that it is against you.
Must come to work early. You, the boss, must be at work. If you come in. And then people said, oh,
but convention.
No, that's other sanctions. When it happens to him.
Example. In my office, I said, once they see my carpet, people must lead by example.
The boss must come to work.
The boss must come. And when you come to work. You don't come to work and then chatting and doing all kinds of things. And your staff, they see you.
1.5 odds and all that stuff. You know what that is?
We introduced the wage system in such a way that...
Good direction. Somebody who actions giving you some sort of assessment to see whether you are performing. But you see, these days, because of the mobile, you go to work sites on side, fighting somebody. So sometimes we all love Ghana, we want Ghana same thing over here. So everybody goes to work, you hide behind, to time. If they are still doing it, then they should. The lesson note of the exercise book doing it, then they should. The lesson note of the exercise book to see director and sanctions will be applying. We will still give it as you see, that money we have there belongs to all of us, and whoever is taking part of that money must be accountable. The job regular check measures. It's I'm on my own. You see, this is my yardstick. It's affecting our lives.
You're not working hard enough.
Oh. If I love Ghana, I have to die for Ghana. But somebody will say, hey, Ghana.
I think they've lost as to what to do.
Is that the 4th C?
UK years ago, in HR, a decent HR courses, so they know their job again. I think that's what to be best. Bring them all back. Increase wages.
I think Singapore did that too.
If you are not copying, but to copy. The factory of the world. Who says that the 24-hour economy is not correct? UK to, people are in this country to school here. Say that's what, and then after they go to work. System working. Their policies are almost invariable. That is scientific enough. That to start that. Because if you don't polish your policy, the money will disappear. Let's say you put 400 million in a policy is scientific. It starts from implants, and I keep saying this. Policymakers there, or SHS. So can we get? Never. They go to funerals from 20 days with sacking. 20 days with sacking. At the lower level, I remember one minister to go and be bricklayers because they have to
inculcate the work culture. Very Daniel Bruce, the Osai.
That's right.
And we are looking at the issues in the news. Parliament is reconvening today, and the Honourable dropped calls. So mentions that are now.
We must encourage all women after childbirth to make sure they are vaccinated. Go and take vaccines because in his wisdom in the 18th century, go to the UK. Try convincing people.
Keep the mighty leader on the line for you.
Good morning. We reckon the democracy of Ghana to do government business, and I'm sure riding 1D1F, which people who have been banked the 250 million, which is also to consider. And as of the election, as you may know, we expect we stand in the middle of Francis to campaign and come back after the elections to continue parliamentary business.
Right.
So I would encourage my colleagues to make time, get back to campaign, and then
LI 2462.
the timelines you made.
Yes, sir.
The statutory 21 sitting days of Parliament. So I believe that considering our tight schedule, Tuesday to Friday, which is, so I believe that whether we'll have some extended sittings.
The numbers are LI 264, and when we have failed as members of Parliament.
Of a submission. Go along.
The LI 6.
The full context.
And then an LI is being revoked.
First of revocation will require a parliamentary vehicle. As for the law, it's when come to Parliament to repeal an instrument approval views on that.
All right.
I'll get back to you.
Okay.
Let me commend you highly. I've been following you. And
Amen.
Thank you for having me.
I thank you all. And you're talking to us about what to expect. We are going to the messages now.
Yeah, the president has missed the boat to redemption. In effect, I think he meant posterity. Will not remember him as part of the people that fought against illegal mining, but rather illegal mining, surface ones. #stop. Has the Electoral Commission given the corrected vote been corrected? It's a question. One of the most important steps and create individuals to read the Biokoshi in Accra. Amweni Fita, Dr. Baumia is the right person to lead this. The messages on this #Stop Galamsey now, a festival of this election.
So I am seeing small scale miners say fight. There's a feature in the Modern Ghana Life and UMAT team up to Suleimana. Calls on academics to join efforts to combat CSI on Galamsey. Arocha is petitioning the US that Ghana is no longer fit to co-chair the forest and climate leaders. Small scale, they brought the cassocks out onto the street. We will never win the war on Galamsey until we get lead support organized labor's body strike. Galamsey threatens food security and cocoa industry, says Brian, the man of the arts. So I guess that's where I put up the state. I want to read it to you. So the EC wishes to announce for the Regional Voters Register, the public may record online for registered voters to check their details and report any discrepancies for correction. From Tuesday, 15th October, which is today, voters can check their details. Star 711 star 51 hash, free of charge. Star 711 star 51 hash, free of charge. Voters can also check their details, voter ID number to receive their registered voters for ends on Saturday, 19th October. You will still be able to check your details online, but you cannot request for correction of your details. So your correction window is between period site. So it's what star what will pop up.
Working.
I don't have a smartphone.
It's SMS.
It's SMS.
Please show us the exhibition service. Enter your.
So Kaf, what it means is that and everything
you are good to go.
You are good to go.
Change it. If you don't change it,
I want to clarify two things.
Yes.
What we need to do is to introduce a new of Parliament. We call it 3 workers of name Abigail Krikofosu won that one.
Okay.
And we had some first class
reflection of your leadership also. Yes.
Just the root.
It's almost like an orgasm.
Yes. It's actually in depression.
We are winning. What's the score? Prediction. We are going. Prediction.
Oh, 1-0.
To Ghana.
To Ghana. Yes.
And Prof.
And when we lose, I'll come back here.
That's headlines.
You are not.
We are done. We are going for. Say there's a book launch. The Untold Story. Bless. We love.
For staying with us. It's still to you once again. And then close before I go into this road. Shout outs to you, Peter, as well. It's going out to you, be fulfilled by the Lord. Happy birthday. So Mary Ejapoma, may this special day be filled with joy, with his wonderful to you, Kobe J, of Ghana and all. And so this birthday dedication says, be fulfilled now.
Stand up, do your thing, don't worry.
And a very happy birthday to all the celebrants. This is Breakfast on Jill. This time to look at the pressing issue. Galamsey, he has promised to wage a relentless war against illegal mining and roll out an aggressive program to reclaim our polluted waters, reclaim our degraded lands, and also to reforest our degraded wooded areas. And they are saying that as part of their commitment to making sure that Ghana's environment is protected, the party will engage with critical stakeholders to fashion out policies and programs on how to do that. Here in the studio to help us understand what those policies and programs may be, we've invited Dr. Tony Orbin, who is the NDC's spokesperson on mining, to share his thoughts with us. Doc, thank you for making the time and welcome to GTV Breakfast.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
We've had the conversations around not politicizing the issue about Galamsey. When you hear that, what comes to mind? Because we know of the comparisons between what NDC did whilst in office with regards to mining licenses and the comparison being made to licenses issued now under the NPP administration. What do you think about when you hear some of these things?
Well, thank you very much. You know, in a very deeply divided society like Ghana, and in a country where there is an absence of genuine, and underline genuine, effort to bring people together, you cannot avoid politicization of issues. And after all, even though the nature of our governance makes it difficult to depoliticize things. And so whilst I am for depoliticizing issues, particularly with our common good, I mean like common property, with things like our water bodies, our land, our natural resources, which do not belong to us, those of us living,
Those things are not ours alone. We are supposed to use part for our benefit and do something for the future generation. That's what we call sustainable development. So in that sense, we must have some consensus around issues of the use of our natural resources. But we are in a country where we have a pole between us. Poles are positions. It is the Constitution, for instance, mandate. Article the 1992 Constitution, Article 257, I think 6 or so, places the responsibility of keeping of keeping the natural resources, the minerals in their natural state on the president. So the president holds that in trust. Somehow there's politics. It is not the opposition candidate who have to have that trust. The president holds that in trust for all of us. So at one point, depoliticization, and then at another point, deepen the politicization. You must be genuine.
Politics is already on the table.
It is on the table. So if you are a leader, you must have a genuine approach of bringing people together so they focus on a very difficult issue such as the one we are facing today.
In this conversation, we keep hearing that Galamsey did not bit more about it than perhaps I do. To what extent will the NDC accept responsibility, if any, for where we are now, and how did we get here? What was your role in this, if there was any?
I arrived from the days that the Portuguese came to Ghana. Ghanaians, before the Portuguese came to Ghana, in I think 1487 or 1472, 1482 or 1472, one of the, but in the 15th century, Ghanaians were doing their mines. They came to Elmina and found out that people were picking gold nuggets and said, oh, this is the land of gold, Lamina. That's how, so at that time you can't call it illegal. And that at that time, some people were required to mine for certain purposes. In fact, it was not for wealth. Sometimes it was for punishment. They ask you to go and mine for the chief or the king. Or sometimes, if you are in debt, big debt, they ask you to go and look for gold and come and pay your debt. It wasn't, when Agriculturism came in the colonial period, they outlawed it. They made it illegal for any Ghanaian to be involved individually in mining. So that's the history. That's the beginning of the illegality. So until President Rawlings' time, 1989, as recently as 1989, it was illegal for Ghanaian to be seen mining on your own. At that time, illegal mining was going on. In fact, the military, the police were chasing people from time to time just because the law says you can't mine. It wasn't because they were destroying water bodies. It wasn't because they were destroying land. They were just scraping the surfaces, and some of them were using what we call locally kodwo to pan for gold. So it wasn't an issue so much. Yet the government at that time, was pushing people to stop because the law says don't do it. It was illegal. But then in 1989. I think the government in its own wisdom realized that what are we doing to ourselves? Foreigners are mining and making money. We have the minerals and we say we shouldn't mine. No, let us have a regulation so that people will mine lawfully. It is like, and I remind people that Akpeteshi, if you know the history of Akpeteshi now being brewed, there were times that you couldn't brew Akpeteshi. It was illegal to brew Akpeteshi or to be seen selling Akpeteshi. The government at that time realized that, made a law around it. Now people don't even make big issue about Akpeteshi. So I think it was in that sense that the government said, whether you send the soldiers there or not, people are doing it. So let us have regulation. Now, what hurts me is that in spite of the regulation, the regularization of small-scale mining, people still thought they should do it outside the presence of the law.
Because there's a line between small-scale mining that is legal and then illegal mining, which is galam.
The law allows for small-scale mining to be done. And it requires you to get a license from the Minerals Commission, get your permit from the EPA, and then you must be a Ghanaian.
you are allowed, you can do it. That's what the law says. You must be a Ghanaian, you must have a license, you must have I think a piece of land of 25 acres would be given to you if you wanted to, you come with that. And then it's purely in a Ghanaian affair. So if you saw a foreigner involved, it is no. If you saw any foreigner, regardless, it can be your brother who has a passport in Burkina Faso, he's a foreigner, he's not allowed to do small-scale mining. So if you are not doing it according to regulation, according to the law, then you are illegal miner. That is the galamsey. And we should be very careful. People have, those who also have regular licenses, they have the document, but you see them mining in areas that are not allowed. When you see them, they say, oh, this is my paper. But the paper is not, the license is limited to your concession.
But they've gone beyond
so even if you have a paper and you are mining beyond your parameters, it is illegal mining. So
there's a lot of issues at stake here.
And then let me give you a last one before you come to the one at stake. If you have a large-scale mining, if you have a large-scale prospecting license or reconnaissance license, and you start mining, you are doing illegal mining because the law does not allow you to mine with a prospecting license or a reconnaissance license. A reconnaissance license is a very basic one. You use that to just take water or soil sample to study and see if there will be gold or there will be the mineral there. Prospecting one, they allow you to dig, but in a very narrow way. You can do a trench or you can do drilling. You are not allowed to mine. So if you are mining that way, you are doing illegal mining. And people don't make that difference. So that's why. And then the water bodies. Water bodies, the law says don't do mining in water bodies.
We'll get to the attempt to change the law, to revoke that LI that allows mining in some of our more protected areas. But because we are talking about the water bodies, the organized labor started an agitation, which I think caught on with the rest of the country and the world about making sure that the water bodies our government is proposing, and then we'll mirror that against what the NDC is proposing. So government is calling for radical measures, including more punitive measures to be applied on persons found to have engaged in illegal mining. It's deployed the military to water bodies to further clamp down on activities of illegal miners. Of course, the call from the AG for the Environmental Protection Agency to lead the attempt to revoke LI 2462 is also on. And then there is the pact. So there's a number of things that government has called for. Which of these do you think is not in line? What do you disagree with as a party?
First of all, the water bodies. In any case, the strict punishment, the laws are there. You see, the problem I have is our failure to enforce our existing laws. And then we come and make it look like they're new. In fact, in 2016, a law was passed that allowed for people who were involved in illegal mining to be punished severely than it was. Even though the first effort was, in my view, quite stiff, they made it stiffer. So it is there. Why are we not talking about? Yeah. So that's fine. So you see, it is good. All these efforts are good, but why have you taken this long? And then the water bodies. I was on the water bodies. See, the water bodies. The law doesn't allow anybody to mine on water bodies. Anybody. That one, there's no license. I don't think Minerals Commission will grant a license for anyone to mine in water body. In fact, if you come for a license and your plan goes across a water body, they won't even grant that. And your license must be 100 meters away from water body. So the laws are just there. Why are we not enforcing it?
So what's the NDC's plan? And let's get to what you are providing in the manifesto to place a ban on new mining activities in forest reserves. That's one of your plans?
Yeah, you know, the President Mahama has already said long before. In fact, he was very disappointed that the thought even came in that we should make a law that allows for mining to take place in a reserved forest, a forest reserve. That even me personally, I find it unconscionable that someone will sit down and say that you can go to a forest reserve and then mine.
Was that the only directive, though, to just mine in the forest? There are provisions to reclaim and to make sure it's restored, the land is restored.
Before then, the country had agreed that the whole forest reserves of this country, only 2% would be allowed for any form of mining, whether it's exploration, prospecting, it should be within 2%. And that before you do it, you needed an entry permit, forest entry permit. Now you remove all these things and you say that anybody could go if he has a permit from if he's get a permit from the minister. Minister too is a politician. So you can see that when the law was made, if Manasseh Azuri's Fourth Estate report change situation, when everybody is talking about cleaning the climate, carbon sequestration and all that we should save our forests for that, and we are part of the governance, the global governance on sustainability, and we also allow for this to happen. It was unnecessary contradiction and a complete unconscionable
now a certain action has been triggered.
No, you asked for what President Mahama and the NDC will do. President Mahama is praying that this thing is taken off now. Otherwise, one of the first things he will do is to revoke that law.
Parliament is reconvening today,
which is good.
The majority leader has told us this morning that this is one of the laws they expect to be brought. As to whether there will be enough time to take it through the parliamentary process, the laid-down process to get it revoked, time would tell. But for now, that process has been triggered to stop.
Manifesto, it is in there that President Mahama would revoke. As one of the first things he would do, revoke that thing.
Would he declare a state of emergency again?
But much power that sometimes doesn't even need a state of emergency.
I'm asking because organized labor specifically demanded that the President
I want the results than
declare.
I want the result than the process.
Okay.
If the Machiavelli says the end justifies the means, if you will be able to stop people from mining on water bodies by just doing a fellow Ghanaians, and people will stop because when you
I want you to explain that.
And this is actual strategy is that the president would just say stop that and enforce it.
Stop what?
Stop mining on water bodies.
What will the enforcement take? Because the current
we will use every force at our disposal. The military are there for this kind of stubborn reaction to things. Don't mine on water bodies.
The military has been deployed in this case.
Yeah, so I say it's fine. I support it. I support it. For the military on water bodies, I support it. What I think is that we have come that far before, and the sustainability of that effort is what is important. And that's what I would suggest, or this is what NDC would do. In fact, once the initial effort is successful to move all the people working on the water bodies successful, every week there will be military flights on the water bodies. There will be drones being flown on water bodies to ensure that nobody goes there again. And it will be a regular thing. If you do that for a very long time, it becomes part of our nature. Nobody will go into the water bodies again. If they see we are serious, if we are ourselves not involved. And sometimes the danger is that you may find a politician who has a champagne day. From what we have heard yesterday, I was on one of the programs, and one Galamsey guy, it was so sad. Galamsey was on the set with us, and he was mentioning, we had to restrain him from mentioning names. And all of them were politically related people. So,
including persons in the NDC?
No. At least not the name. I'm not saying NDCs are angels. No, they are not. I'm sure mining district, you see that the executive of parties, the party constituency executives, would be related to mining. That if you're an NDC and you wanted to have a license, they won't give you won't get it. Yes. Look, go to the so-called community mining. These things are happening. I'm not being political. I'm just being truthful. in the go to Prestia Ahune Valley. Let me give you one name. Go to Prestia Ahune Valley constituency. Go to Memphis constituency. In the community mining, you're supposed to have the MP being part, the MC being part. Go and ask if Honorable Kujo is part of the Prestia Ahune Valley community mining. No, I mean,
and if you're Ghanaian, and you talked us through some of the requirements. If you're Ghanaian and you meet all the necessary criteria, why would you be denied a license because you are perceived to belong to a different political party?
Well, maybe they are not going for it. And please don't get me wrong. I'm not saying NDC people are not mining. I'm sure there are NDC people who are mining, NDC sympathizers who are mining.
So by extension, it will be fairly reasonable to assume that there are some, perhaps, who may also be engaging in the illegality.
When Professor Frimpong Manso came with a list of people who he thought were involved in illegal mining, how many NDC names did you see? Professor Frimpong, what are mining? How many? When Manasseh Azuri in his fourth estate came up, how many NDC people were there? Zilch. So, I am not saying that NDC may not be involved, but I'm saying that if you have these people involved and then you want to stop, it becomes difficult.
So transparency and accountability are key here. Yeah. How will the NDC make sure that this whole mining process is transparent so that the allegations that you've made, that X number of persons applied and because they were presumed to affiliate with B party, they were denied licenses? How do we make sure that this is open?
I haven't said that, but what I'm saying is that President Mahama says when he's in power, none of his appointees would want you to be part of his
We've seen Ghanaians register businesses on behalf of foreigners. So we could very well see the situation where some persons who may be in the president's administration taking a backseat and allowing other people's name of the proceeds of the mining.
Yes, so if that is the warning, the hindsight, you come and then it turns out that you're involved in mining. It is up to him to take action. And the evidence is that he has taken actions in the past about his ministers who were alleged. Some of them just made mention of money that they were going to take if they were in power. The reason why they were in politics, it was in their car. The person was sacked. Some persons were even tried and jailed because of something that they did that was wrong. So evidence is quite all the place about President Mahama's ability to crack the whip.
So officers will be fired, party officials will be fired if it is found that they are engaged in some of these activities.
There's a difference between party officials.
Persons within the NPP, presumably involved in illegal mining, who may not necessarily be government officials.
Yes, but if you know it, let's say you are a powerful non-government official, you have actually sponsored the party before. If you're doing the wrong thing, it becomes difficult.
So how will the NDC do different then?
Yes. So that's what they say. In fact, NDC will bring you to book if you were an official openly involved in this type of business. At least the president has sounded the warning that he will not entertain. Look, this is very significant. He will not entertain anyone who is involved in mining. He didn't say illegal mining. You won't be part, because you can have that. By mining is business. You make money, that's fine. He doesn't say stop it. He says don't be part of my government. So
even if an NDC party official or a government official owns a legal mining concession, let's say Thelma Mining Company, and Thelma belongs to Kyo Party. Yeah. The president is saying that once you are in the business of mining, you cannot be part of his government.
He says he wants to demonstrate that he's serious about stopping illegal mining. So don't be part of his government. You are doing business. You are making money. I tell you, there's money in small-scale mining.
They've told us, we've heard people say that even on the illegal side, they buy X number of vehicles a week. But we won't get into that. I want to ask about how you intend to engage with the chiefs, who are traditionally the custodians of the land. The argument is, even though the chiefs are the custodians of the land, licenses are issued from a seat in Accra from the Office of the Minerals Commission, and they are now sent into the areas where they have been given the concessions to work in, by which point the chiefs say they have no power.
Okay.
How would you address a situation like this?
I have something to say on that, but let me say what NDC would do. NDC would decentralize the grant of mining licenses, the mineral licenses. And so it means that at the district, and in fact, when I was at the commission, I was involved in inaugurating some district mining committees that included chiefs. Chiefs were involved in that. They were part of the committees. And then, so we want to decentralize the grant of mineral license at the community, at the district level, so that that issue would die down. But the other explanation is that, when someone has a big exploration license, for example, it may cut across, and the ownership of land is quite complex.
Cut across jurisdictions?
Not jurisdictions, but traditional jurisdictions. Yeah. For instance, if my land, there are some chiefs who are sitting on lands that don't belong to them. So the process, as I remember, was to go to the paramount chiefs. So the letter, the information will go to the paramount chiefs for them to know who actually owns the land. Because the danger was for someone in the Minerals Commission assuming that Thelma owns, Queen Thelma owns the land in that place, even though he probably sits somewhere else. In our country, in some jurisdiction, that's what it is. So to cut long story short, President Mahama says, I will decentralize the process of the grant of mining licenses. I think that would deal with the involvement of our traditional leadership. I think it's very important. A few days ago, one chief called me and said, there is a community mining in my community. Who owns the community? Is it not me? I'm not part of the governance structure.
But we've seen programs where community mining schemes have been commissioned with the presence of some
chiefs,
of the traditional
with the presence of chiefs,
in the videos, in the photographs.
I tell you, when the president or deputy minister is going somewhere, chiefs come. Chiefs are motivated to come and then sometimes graze the place. It is possible that some chiefs may be involved in some community mining. That chief must be well placed. Must be, you can almost see where that chief's head is.
Can you?
But where some chiefs are not involved, because this chief who called me, he is a divisional chief, which means next to paramount chief, and there are community mining in his area, and he's not involved in any of them. So the question he asked me is, who owns the community? Is it not the chief who have the community that you do the community mine? So I think there are a few things that are too political about it, and that has to be changed. I think some of these things, when we say them, it's not out of malice. It is because of what we have picked. When I've been involved in this business for some time, and I'm not a saint, but I have never had a Galamsey mine or any small scale mine before.
For the hundreds of years that gold, for example, has been mined in Ghana, the significant communities where gold mining actively takes place appear to be largely underdeveloped.
Yep.
And successive governments have been said to be guilty of neglecting these communities and these towns. Is there a new plan under an NDC administration for that to change? Absolutely.
It was the NDC that passed the law on a Minerals Development Fund. I was involved in doing that. So now the Minerals Development Fund is there, and actually I've seen a bits and pieces of it being implemented. We did that. We set up everything, and then NDC lost elections, so it went into the successive government. But what NDC intends to do, it's identified that already. In fact, it is the NDC that looks at, there's an asphalt road that is being constructed, $33 million asphalt road, by the mining company. It was out of the effort of the NDC government. The president actually personally said, look, we are doing this development agreement for you. Now, when we do, we want you to do the road because this road will benefit your staff as well. And they agreed. They accepted it. I remember one of the MD, when we said that someone said, I am being biased, and then and they did it. If you look at the road from Ayamfre to Takwa. It was done under NDC government. And then from there to Sefi, they were all done, but they are mining areas. But the makers good. They are the areas that's of cocoa. You go to cocoa growing areas and they are poor. They don't have water, they don't have roads. All we need is for them to do the cocoa and get them to us. NDC introduced the cocoa road. In any case, NDC is introducing what it calls the offset program. The offset program would allow the mining companies to do some infrastructure and then take it from their royalties. You know, mining companies, oftentimes they take royalties and they take royalties. Yes, they get some comprehension of the royalties, but really the royalties are paid to the state, to government. What NDC intends to do is that out of your royalties for, let's say, if your plan is 10 years, your mining plan is 10 years, you do an asphalt road from point A to point B. We'll sit down and discuss and know the cost. So when you are mining and getting the gold, you take out some of the royalties to repay. So it means that the infrastructure will be there in advance of your royalties. But this will have to be discussed. This will have to be negotiated with the Chamber of Mines and the mining industry. I think it's a fantastic idea. Even if it's in small bits, it will directly impact the communities. Communities suffer from mining. So, and sometimes government don't do anything in mining communities. It is often the mining companies themselves which tries bits and pieces in those areas. So government wants to be directly involved in ensuring that mining benefits the communities directly.
If you are so committed to making sure that this problem is resolved, why is there a sense of resistance to this call for parties to sign a pact which would commit candidates to these core principles that you've talked about in the course of this conversation? Why the hesitation, or why the refusal to sign the pact?
I think it is kind of now passing the buck. I have not been part of a group that has decided whether, or that is deciding whether to sign or not to sign. But I think it is almost like passing the buck. The law and the constitution just strengthen the government in power to do what the country is asking it to do. So what is wrong with you doing it? The next government that coming has also got that law, enforcing him to do the right things. So if you are in power and you are, because look, I've given you Article 257. I've also given you Article 36, which talks about the requirement for government to ensure our environment is maintained. And then I've given, let me also tell you that when the president is swearing the oath, the president talks about a commitment to protect these things. So why can't the president or the government do it? Any government there is forced to do it. Why does it need a pact for it to become something that everybody would do it? When people sign pact, they can even go against it. But I think let's push the right thing and not make it everything, okay, now I can't do it. I need other people to come and let us all sit down and do it. You are so powerful to do those things. The state, the whole country gives you that power. The whole country supports you to do that. That's why the whole country have come together. And I'm a Catholic. I was part of the march. We came together and said, please, we are praying to God that God will give you the strength and the wisdom to do what you are required to do.
In your final comments, and we'll be wrapping up in 2 minutes, what alternatives would you offer to persons who you find to be engaged in Galamsey, but as some would say, they've come to it because there is no alternative? Okay. And perhaps that would be your final comment. What's the NDC's offer of an alternative to Galamsey for those who want to change course?
Yes, as you know, the President Mahama is very much committed to creating. In fact, all the struggle that is struggled to come back is to create opportunities for job for young people. And that is why we've been talking about the 24-hour economy that allows for, support for businesses.
Your last comment.
Yes, support for businesses that will be able to create more jobs for them. So that is going to take people. And genuine business, it's not like only go and have a farm, because he probably won't go. So restructure the whole economy, create better jobs, and ensure that some are taken. But those who want to be in mining, teach them how to do it well. Teach them how to do it well.
Doc, thank you for sitting with us and for sharing the NDC's plan to stop Galamsey with us. Dr. Tony Orbin is the NDC's spokesperson on mining. He's been talking to us about what the party intends to do to stop Galamsey. It includes a plan to place a ban on new mining activities in forest reserves, a plan to amend the mineral and mining law to impose stiffer punishment on those mining in our water bodies, and a plan to decentralize regulatory and licensing processes for artisanal miners. He's been on this edition of Manifesto Watch. This is a platform created by the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation for political parties and actors to propagate their policies well to the Ghanaian public ahead of election 2024. All parties are invited to this table where only one party wins, and that is Ghana. We'll take a break. When we return, the breakfast show continues. complain. We are sitting down now to ask ourselves, us and you, what's on your mind. The team is here for this family meeting. Kaf, Titi, Jay.
Hi.
Welcome.
Yep.
Thank you.
Kaf, I'll start with you.
Yep.
What's on your mind today? Black Stars or something else?
No, it's road safety.
Okay.
Speeding.
Okay.
And I think that we really need to make our roads safer for drivers, for pedestrians, for passengers. Last week I was driving in Accra. I saw a lady with 3 children bubbling up and down in the back of her car. You know, no restraints, no car seats. Find heavy amounts of money for not restraining your children. Speed issues are a big deal, and the speed limit in that country is 80.
This Rwanda.
Yes, 80 kilometers per hour. You dare not go beyond that speed.
Even on the motorway?
Yes, it's 80.
Everywhere, 80?
Yes, the whole country. You get a message on your phone, you get a fine. If you don't pay the fine within a specific, you can have your vehicle impounded. You pay fines. You see, so the 50 we see in town is just a number. It's like an age. You know, and people are losing their limbs. People are dying unnecessarily because we're not clamping down on speed. You know, so what's on my mind is the speed demons. You know, we have to exercise them from our system. Good one. And it's happening in Africa. So
others have done it successfully. So why can't we? You can join our call 054-3664-264. Jay, what's on your mind?
I would just like to the roads in some parts of the country, and then again to have a feeling that's also the bane of our existence, because I don't know if it's because of how bad. And speaking about road safety and all, I took a trip once to Cape Coast. On our way back, you realize that the road markings were gone, and I figured I was in the middle of the road, so I was safe. Until another truck came to zoom past, and I was like, he also thought he was in the right lane, and then it's like, if care is not taken, it was dark, no street lights as well. So it's like the number of road safety issues that keep cropping up. I remember the National Road Safety Authority put up a speed a radar gun or something on the motorway, but unfortunately it wasn't linked to the police. So even if you see your speed limit and you're going beyond the speed limit, there's nobody coming to your doorstep. You don't receive a text message or anything. And I guess the most recent one is what happened at East Legon. And if you follow the story and the Ghana National Fire Service, the videos they shared and everything, it was quite gory. People bent beyond recognition. And if you realize it was just a 16-year-old who was just doing that, and the speed with which when you watch the CCTV footage, the speed at which it came with, and they survived, but the other car, so it's like, and it's even trending on X right now. If you go on X, you see East Legon, and a number of people are just on that case, bashing. It's like, who is at fault? Is it the parents, the 16-year-old? What are authorities doing? And some people are complaining about the police.
The police issued a statement yesterday on this particular matter because the media asked certain questions that named the people who are involved, confirmed the number of persons who have been injured, but the statement said the police is investigating the fatal East Legon accident, and it went on to say when it occurred, so the 12th of October at East Legon in Accra, leading to the death of 2 persons. And it said that preliminary police investigation indicates that the suspect driver, identified as Salifo Amwako, rammed his vehicle into another vehicle on Jani Ashish Street at East Legon. Both vehicles caught fire and burned beyond recognition. The suspect driver and other surviving victims are currently receiving medical attention. The statement went on to say that one of the surviving victims has been treated and discharged, while the bodies of the deceased victims have been deposited at the morgue for preservation and autopsy. This was released by the police yesterday, and our thoughts and prayers remain with the families of those who have been affected by this tragedy. I hear Solomon has joined us on the line, guys. So let's hear what Solomon has to say, and then I'll come back to you, Jay, so you finish, and then I'll pick your thoughts also on what's on your mind, Martiti. But Solomon, thank you for calling us on GTV Breakfast. What's on your mind this morning?
All right, I'm like, our roads are not good, Ghana. Our roads are not good. So, like, we have to do something about it.
Where do you live, Solomon?
Like, we have to follow our this thing.
Which part of the country are you reaching us from? Where do you live? Agbogloshi. There's some construction works going on there. Will that help the situation in that part of the country, do you think?
Yeah.
All right, Solomon. Bad roads. We hear you. And the officials watching also hear you very clearly. Thank you for reaching us. Solomon also hops on your...
On a bad road, having on a very good road.
Very and so that's what Jay say.
And there are no limits to what people can do on the roads. And there are no consequences. Too many people have died. Just even this weekend, there was a guy who knocked down a motorcyclist, and the people around were so angry they burnt his car. That was that.
On the Spinters Road.
A couple of months ago, Ghanaian actor Lewin was involved in an accident. Somebody was killed. The examples are just
enforce
too many.
The laws is basically what you're saying. Maltiti,
slow down.
What's on your mind? It's a safety thing for CAF and Jay. What's your matter this morning?
I think it's a safety thing for me, but I think that reoccurring the moral fiber of our society that looks like is, dwindling away. That how did these children get their hands on a key and drive the car when they are underage, whether it was a birthday party or if the stories are true, there should have been parents supervising these children. And if in this case it doesn't look like this was the first time the child would have laid their hands on that key and driven that car, whether it was a neighborhood drive or they've been driving up to highways, it is unacceptable for you to allow children have access to these kinds of machines or
what's the legal age where someone can be in other countries 18. There's an age where you can start learning to drive.
You drive
it's not
at 18.
It's not always 18 for everybody.
It's 18 in Ghana.
It's 18 in Ghana. So if indeed it is found to be true, and yesterday on the police media platform, questions were asked about if the police could confirm the age of the suspect, because they named the suspect. So some of the journalists were asking if you were able to name him, you should have been able to tell us how old he was, and then the links that he's the son of XYZ, you should be able to lay all that out, because that should be captured in the preliminary investigation. But like the police said,
it's even problematic,
it's still being talked about.
You don't name, in some places you don't name minors. If the person is a minor, you don't name the person. You don't take.
Reverend Anderson has joined us from Teshi Tree Bleu. Reverend, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
What's on your mind this morning?
I live close to the Lekma Hospital.
Okay.
And at least 100 from the junction I live to towards the hospital. It's a good route. And there's a guy who repairs motors. And when he has repaired those motors, the people tested in front of the Lekma Hospital. They speed up as they are mad. Two boys were knocked down last 2 weeks. The impudence and it's amazing.
Has the attention of, for example, the police been alerted to
just
this
in front
occurrence?
Of the hospital, speed up in front of the hospital, testing their motors.
Has it been brought up to the police? Has it been reported to the police officially? Have you reported it to the police?
I haven't done that, but I think I have to do that.
Because if people are being lawless, there's an organization that's to ensure that does not happen. So they should be, brought into the know so they can take their necessary actions. Reverend Anderson, thank you for reaching us. Teshi Tree Bleu. So that motorbike repairer is allegedly allowing the repaired bikes to be tested in front of Lekma Hospital, and Reverend Anderson said he will reach out to the police. But it's a kind of moral thing Maltiti is talking about. It's a speeding thing CAF is talking about. And it's ironic because it's the good road and the bad road thing that Jay is talking about. And it just makes you wonder how people think.
But if the
lives of other people are in danger, why not just do the right thing.
Digitization must get to road safety. I mean, we are talking too much. Automate the thing. I mean, where it works, if you go beyond the speed limit, you get an alert on your phone.
And the cameras are everywhere.
There's cameras everywhere. So just buy cameras, sync everybody's phone to road safety and DVLA and police and all those people, and just start just applying the law.
If you're a driver, there's a certain app that you should download so that if you offend,
once you go for your license,
the traffic offense, it will just click. Maybe Kojo would agree with what you're saying, reaching us from Dansoman. Kojo, good morning. Thank you for joining us on GTV Breakfast. What's your concern this morning?
Yes, hi. My concern is that when you drive through the neighborhoods and you will see some speed bumps, and these speed bumps are known by people that drive or that live in the area. But these speed bumps are not marked. One would think that they will be marked like with yellow paint. That's what I know when people that are living in the U.S., and I know that all speed bumps are marked with yellow reflective paint, just so that when somebody who don't live in the area is driving, will know that, oh, there's a speed bump in this area. One time we were driving, and the driver that was I was in the car didn't know it, and our car just jumped, and it nearly hit the bank of the road. So these speed bumps must be marked yellow paint, reflective, so that when somebody is coming, as soon as the person sees that, oh, there's a speed bump, the reflective will show. But when you put a signboard by the speed bump, nobody is reading the signboard that is a speed bump. It must be painted yellow. The authorities that are concerned with all these things, when they go outside, especially at the U.S., they see that the speed bumps are painted with reflective yellow paint.
Could you thank you for bringing this to our attention?
And one thing too is that at the same some roads, you see that there's a gutter cutting across the road, and you see some slabs. Where I live, these slabs have almost been removed, and you see cars slowing down and hitting the gutter, and nobody is doing anything about it.
Really?
And it's very, very disheartening when you see things like this. It's waiting for a very big accident to happen.
It's a disaster waiting to happen. Kojo, thank you so much.
Nobody is doing anything about it. This class.
Thank you.
I don't know.
We appreciate you joining our conversations. Unmarked speed bumps and gutters cutting across the road. Kaf, you've lived in Dansoman for a while. So what's this experience like? Have you come across those?
Get rid of all the speed bumps. And just install cameras and sync the thing digitally.
Speed bumps make sure that the drivers slow down.
I was in Kigali. I didn't see it. I was in Rwanda. There were no speedway. There were cameras, and there were fines, and there are consequences. There were no speed. You don't need speed bumps.
Cameras, fines, consequences. CFC.
80.
No, but you see what he just mentioned. You realize that the second part of it, it's like it's a problem, because where the gutters cut across the road, they put these drains over there, and some unscrupulous people go and steal them. And then you find that in the middle of the road, there's this wide gap. So when you are turning into the road, if you don't want to enter that hole that's been left there, that's when you find people slowing down the main road and trying to turn their cars into
There's
the
one
it creates a very big
on the road approaching the lighthouse at Jamestown. There is something very, very similar. The gutter is cutting across the road, and there is a culvert, and the drain cover is actually deeper, so the street is slightly elevated, and the cover is further down. So if you don't take care to get that in the middle of in between the car's tires, it means that one of the tires would have to go in and out, and it always creates a situation where the drivers have to slow down. So cameras, fines, and consequences, I think, will work very well. I think we have another caller on our line. Mama, where are you reaching us from? What's on your mind this morning?
It's a simple thing. It's all about fancy ads and things, but we're really not serious, because who tried driving at 50 J? It's really slow. But that's what in systems where things work, you have to drive. Listen, we're in a tailback. We're climbing up a hill behind a truck. We're all doing 60. The road was clear. Nobody tried. Nobody did it. I asked the driver, aren't you overtaking? No! I'll get the fine on my phone. We followed them for 20 minutes climbing up the hill. We could see heaven and freedom. But
my grandmother car.
You can't do it.
So slow.
In the villages, you have your speed cameras. Nobody's speeding through a village.
God.
There's no speed bumps.
Oh no, but you know, sometimes back to safe war, my friends and I decided to go between 60 and 80. And then it's like that's the limit we decided to go. And you realize that we still managed to get to work like on time.
And it's calm.
It's calm. And it's like some people come and speed past, you get to a traffic light and before stopped at the same place. You're like, why were you speeding like that in the first place? Like,
yes. You go over a zebra crossing where there are people there. You get a fine on your phone.
Blankson is joining our conversation from Takoradi.
We talk too much.
Blankson, good morning.
Good morning.
What do you have to contribute to our conversation today?
Yeah, I've witnessed a lot of accidents myself, and one thing I've come to understand is that the major problem is not the route.
Yes.
It's the enforcement of the law.
Yes.
When you don't enforce the law,
that's it.
When you don't enforce the law, that's what will always happen. Because as Catherine is saying, that some places there are cameras and stuff, whereby when someone commits an error of a speed or something, they will enforce the law to make sure that the person pays such amount of money at a certain time. When he doesn't pay at that time, it will be increased. So everybody will be afraid, because when you talk about bad roads, we have those rural areas where the roads are very bad, but the drivers, they drive very cool and nice. But look at the towns whereby most of those accidents happen in town, not those rural areas.
Exactly.
So I think the law must be enforced. That is it. It's not about the road. It's about the mindset.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Blankson, Kaf says he owes you lunch.
Yeah.
Today.
I mean,
cameras, fines, consequences.
There's the Osofo. You know the Osofo. There's a video I saw of him saying that in Ghana, no policeman can stop him.
Oh, yes.
He's been driving without a license.
Father
of the person who's supposed to have caused this accident.
Allegedly.
Driving without a license, without registration.
Yeah.
And if any policeman dares to stop him, he asks him who born you by mistake, and he will call his boss.
The laws must work, and it must apply to everybody equally, because that's how a society maintains law.
Especially
and
the gods
order.
of men, who have lots of followers. Especially the gods of men.
You think that people of the clerics have a greater responsibility?
I'm confused.
Especially the gods of men.
Men of God.
Gods of men.
Since the family meeting, GTV safety issues, he says speeding is a problem. Jay believes that even when the roads are good, sometimes it's worse. Arguments we should have with ourselves so that we make the right choices, more or less. You've also had your say. Our phone lines are open. Perhaps we'll take one more call if time allows us. So you tell us what's on your mind.
I just want to throw in that my attention was drawn last week to another social issue in Tamale, and I hear robberies are on the rise. And then you come out at night, and then a young person just points a gun at you and says, "Leave everything and walk away." I don't know when this started in Tamale, because I think a year ago, before the whole Lamashegu and the police scuffle and the shooting, what happened was Momo vendors were being attacked, and that one, it was on motorbikes with AK-47. It was planned, orchestrated. But now I hear that young boys are just walking around with guns, and they meet you in the streets, and they say, "Hey, bro, drop everything and go." I don't know what's going on. Public safety. The police must wake up. This is bad.
It's quite sad, because in an election year, you want there to, you don't want to heighten tensions with some of these things. When the atmosphere itself is already charged with all that's happening on the campaign trail and whatnot. So we really hope that the authorities will follow through with some of these concerns, and they will be addressed.
Right.
Do we have another caller? I think we do. Kuda has joined us. Kuda, good morning. Thank you for joining us on GTV Breakfast. What's on your mind?
I want to express my view the accident of this boy, small boy who was driving.
Okay.
And then there's investigations going on.
The police said it is investigating the matter, yes.
My mind is, if the car owner and free, see this boy is a teenager underage, and he might have taken the key because of the recklessness of the car owner. Has that car owner been arrested? Or what? If in little things I've read about the advanced word, this child is underage, the parents would have been arrested.
Who owns the car?
It should only, I think that Ghana too is the same. As that been done. That's my view. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kuda. Kuda thinks that the owner of the car, because the one driving is allegedly a minor, should be arrested and asked certain questions. Agree?
Because it's your car, it's your vehicle, it's your property.
How did they get into the hands of
somebody?
Underage?
Yeah. That's a good feedback.
Who owns the car?
Responsibility. Who's the car registered to?
Exactly.
And the police should be able to, make that check very, very quickly.
It's the innocent lives that were just lost for me. The mothers.
Minding your own business.
The young mothers.
Because you try to be as careful as possible.
Yeah, and somebody will just come in and carefully.
Us from Latibia Koshin. Nyama, good morning. What's on your mind?
Good morning. Kapi.
Toby.
That's why.
Hey, good morning.
You know my problem?
Tell me, sir.
The railway crossing at Circle. The railway crossing at Circle, New Plant Station. When you get there from 6 o'clock, always there is a heavy traffic over there due to that very particular railway. So let them check out that very particular railway crossing. The one from Aveno going to Accra. Just another overhead bridge.
Yes, sir.
If you get there, you see that all cars slow about.
When you say something should be done, what exactly are you proposing? Because the rail is already in the road. It's been made a part of the road. So what do you want to be done?
The authorities must come to that very particular place and fill whatever the bitumen or to shift the free movement of the vehicles. Because there is a people inside in between the railways and the route. The rail. When you get there, just before the new plant station, you see that all cars slows down. Then after you cross the railway, you see that there is a free flow traffic to Obechebi, which is over there. But when you get there, you see that it is rather the railway that is crossing the route to Accra. So all vehicles slows down.
Good shout, Nee. Thank you for reaching us.
Sounds like a soldier.
Yes. He sounds like a very stern and strict. You wanted
and talking of soldiers, I just noticed this yesterday. I was just talking to one of our guests yesterday. Have you realized that these political party people are now wearing camouflage at their meetings?
Yes, they've issued a warning.
So the police, there's a forms and accoutrement by protesters during demonstrations, as well as by individuals providing security for some public figures. Ghana Armed Forces has also noted that with dismay, similar illegal acts among persons operating in illegal mining areas, Galamsey sites, and some political activists. Despite ongoing education and warnings, this concerning trend appears to be increasing. During recent demonstrations in Accra and Kumasi, it was observed that some protesters and individuals claiming to provide private security. Similar instances were noted during anti-Galamsey operations conducted by the Ghana Armed Forces. Such actions risk creating the false impression that these in the Liberation Council Decree of 1967, which remains in effect. This decree explicitly states, no person shall wear or use any military uniforms, equipment, or accoutrements or other material unless he or she is a member of the Armed Forces of Ghana. End quote. Moreover, the misuse of military attire can facilitate impersonation and enable criminal activities, posing a serious threat to public safety. In the light of security implications of these illegal acts, the Armed Forces will henceforth take decisive actions, including the arrest of persons who violate these regulations to face the full rigor of the law. We also urge the public to report any suspicious activities involving unauthorized military attire. Ghana Armed Forces reassures the public of its unwavering commitment to protecting citizens and maintaining the territorial integrity of Ghana. As the country approaches the 2024 general elections, the cooperation of all citizens is essential in upholding peace and security. Signed, Brigadier General action. I've seen political people with even their names on it. It's almost like they are service people. So yes, you have their name on the camo.
Now the military says don't do it.
Don't do it. And
So if you do it,
it's already there.
action will be
People are now
taken.
flouting. When I read
The law has always been. So it's an enforcement issue. It's an
Again,
enforcement issue again. Kwame has joined us on the line. Kwame is our last caller from Achimota. They say Achimota. Kwame, how are you? What's on your mind this morning?
Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for reaching us on GTV Breakfast.
I want to speak to you.
Go ahead.
Okay. Me mama Tiano pay.
Yo.
Machio.
Yeah, hello.
Please go ahead. We are listening. Good morning to you too. I
think Nakao Kami say it means the law must be enforced.
Speak tree.
Like Ghana Hano say enforce of the law. Law no crano. Omo essential law. Omo na money ma enforce you Ghana.
Okay.
Yeah, because we hear near my enforce of my mua. Ubeko baby to say it's legal. Ubeka te hono nkwan e Ghana. Oza cow say yemfa light camera embobo ho. Ana other colleague neka say cameras no obi ba be wia. Ubeko is legal and yumre no. Police go on it's more than about 1,000. Ubeka te nkwan e Ghana. Enti the police service na here no. The officers are police go hono. A good is legal about 3-4 and a bit of baby. Camera one never who we are at the end of a beha, so we could debony a channel. We said at the end of the because police is in guiding our leaders. And on a minor year bullying in our it's about our leaders. Enforcement, those people go and on the common nothing in this Ghana here.
Kwame, thank you for reaching us. I think that's all time would allow us to agree. We'll do this again so that you call back and we'll hear more from you, Kwame. All right? Thank you so much. From Achimota, Kwame is our last caller. Soman, Blankson, and Kuda as well. All of you, Kaf, Matiti, J, thank you for sharing your thoughts on this table. My thought of the day is there's cholera outbreak in Accra. I don't understand. Let's go back to basics. Hand washing. Sanitize. Wash your hands.
I'm surprised you say you don't understand.
I don't understand. It's 2024.
You're not doing the right thing.
Enforcement.
You give me terror.